Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Ryan Stiles Harris, and in today's video, I am very excited. We go through the true first-hand experience of somebody who has never driven an RC vehicle to racing it on the track. The purpose of this video is to help somebody that is going to purchase their first RC vehicle and is interested in taking it to the track, or not full-fledged buying a race vehicle and doing the silly things that I do, but they just want to give it a try in the novice beginner sense. Traxxas has sent us two vehicles to try, the Slash Modified and the Jato 4x4. I didn't really expect it or know at the time the differences that would be illustrated by a beginner, such as two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. Yes, I knew that that was a technical difference, but the user experience was vastly different. So it's really fun to see Nico, my friend who's going to be with us at the track here in a second, go through these differences. The second difference is really important as well. Purpose-built oriented vehicles versus something that's a little bit more universal. If you look at something like, I don't know, my winged modified sprint cars back there, you might want to purchase it just based on the way it looks. Goes fast, super cool. But if you try to use it in anything other than ideal scenarios that it's been designed for, it's really almost impossible. Like, you can't take it out to a baseball field and rip around without destroying it or it being able to go anywhere at all. Not so much with these vehicles here before us because of their heritage, that they've been around and they've been used in a lot of different scenarios. They're going to be fundamentally a little bit more universal. But something like the Slash Modified, a little bit more geared and oriented to those that are looking to go into the dirt oval scene in a beginner sense. We still bash it, and we saw how it did, and we had fun, so look forward to that. But something to note when you're looking at something that has a designation to it, like dirt oval racing. The Jato 4x4 is something that might look a little bit more like my race buggies that you see behind me, but vastly different in its price point, first of all. I think the other day I was just trying to get a ballpark figure on how much it might cost somebody to build like my nitro buggy, for example. Not adding any of the accessories or anything else, I quickly got up to about $2,500 for one of those race buggies. So definitely didn't want to be reminded how much those things cost, but it's a harsh reality for those that are getting into the racing side of things. If you're looking to just get this vehicle for your son, a niece, nephew, daughter, whatever the case may be, and you're just going to race in the novice class or the beginner class, the Jato 4x4 is going to be able to do that. And we'll show you that here later in the video. And we're nowhere near the $2,500 price point of just the vehicle itself. We can get a fully up and running vehicle for a much, much smaller fraction of the price. I've linked everything down below in case you're curious and pricing these things out for yourself. Don't take it from me, take it from the source and the people that sell these vehicles. All that information is down there below for you guys. So, two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive, purpose-built versus a little bit more universal. The other thing that I want you to pay careful attention to is how easy it was for a first-time user, never used anything like batteries or chargers before, to operate the Traxxas battery charging system. This is something that we, as racers, have seen the horrors of LiPo batteries and the things that can go wrong in some worst-case scenarios. But what Traxxas has done to carefully develop their system is make it as easy as possible and plug and play, as intuitive as you would hope it could be. Proprietary plug system, smart identifiers in the charger itself, does all the work for you so that you can safely charge up a battery and get that thing out on the track as soon as possible. They sent us a few other goodies as well, like a nice little toolkit that Nico will go through, and you'll see that's a good thing to have for any RC vehicle if you don't have one of those. And that's about it. I'm really excited for you guys to see this firsthand. Again, if you are looking to purchase your first vehicle, please, this is going to help you understand everything that you can expect for your real first-hand experience with things like this. We don't do multiple takes around here, okay?
Okay.
One take. So you don't get no. You can have as many takes as you want.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my friend Nico Guidachesi. I've been his friends for a long time. Did I say your last name right?
It's really embarrassing if you can't say my last name. Yeah, we've been friends for 10+ years. Guidachesi was right. Good job.
Guidachesi, we did it. Okay, so you are a very admirable, responsible young man. You have 3 beautiful children, a wife, a home.
Yes, sir.
And you are in a position where you could potentially make a terrible financial decision.
Oh, I'm ready to make a
Yes,
really bad
like race RC
decision.
cars.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm going to show you what we're going to race today, and I just want your honest feedback.
Always.
Honest.
Yeah.
Tell me if it's awful. Tell me if you love it.
Okay.
It's going to be fun.
I can do that.
Do you have any expectations for what's about to happen?
No, we're just gonna have a great day. You know, I'm ready to do anything you tell me, and yeah, answer some questions, I guess.
Okay, let's do it. Here we go.
Cool.
So we're gonna start with what would arguably be the easiest. Traxxas sent us 2 vehicles to try. The first one is the beautiful Traxxas / modified. This has the BL2S brushless system, so it's got some horsepower, I think. I don't know all the options that are available with this, but this is what our friend here, Nico, is going to try today. Now, they sent me a car and a box full of stuff. I want this to be like a genuine experience where if he bought this stuff online because he saw a video and then he's going to try and do it himself, I'm going to help him as little as possible to see how intuitive, because he's a smart guy. He's smarter than I am. So he's going to figure it out. But if he needs some help, we'll help him out. But I just want to see if this stuff is as plug and play as it should be. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Here, I'll trade you. Help me.
You're so old.
Yeah.
Weak.
Okay. In that box is a charger, batteries, tools, and a bunch of other stuff. So give us a second. We're gonna lay it all out and see where we're gonna start. Okay, got a lot of goodies here. What? So we got the car,
Yup.
bunch of stuff. What now?
I don't know. You tell me. A bunch of stuff in this bag we haven't looked at yet. I don't know what any of this is.
What do you think they are?
Well, oh, these are batteries.
Hey, there we go.
I'm a really smart person, so.
Okay, that's a servo. We don't need that right now.
Cool.
So giving you some cheater information. So the car, we're obviously gonna have to take it out of the box.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have to use this thing for charging those things.
Got it.
Okay.
Oh, it's a cool little toolkit. Cool. Oh, nice.
Now, we have their Traxxas Easy Peak Live Dual Charger. I don't know what kind of chargers they offer, but this is what we have. I've heard that Traxxas batteries are going to possibly have some proprietary plugs, maybe. So let's open one up and find out. These 2 are the same and these 2 are the same. So let's open one of these. I don't know which one we're going to use and what, but this one, let's see, is a 5235C. I believe it's a 2S. And then this one is a 7625C 2S. Okay, so we got this. It has a plug that I've never seen before. Let's see. So I'm not going to do it, but let's see if that is just going to plug into here. And I think it should do most of the identifying charging parameters for you.
Well, let's see.
No?
Maybe I've got it the wrong way. There we go.
Oh, wow, okay. So what happened when you plugged it in?
Blue light.
So we got a blue light, which means start, stop, or do you have to press? Okay,
Press and hold to start.
press and hold to start. Okay. A beep,
And we've got.
and it's going.
Okay. Can we do
Okay.
another one?
So yeah, we can charge up the. Actually, I don't even know if that's the battery we need for this car.
Okay.
I'll be able to tell you in a second. Let's pop the body off of that and
Okay.
see if it looks like it's gonna fit. Sorry guys, real professional here that I have any idea what's going on. Traxxas, when I talked to them before they sent me these goodies, they said that they try to make this as intuitive as possible and limit the possibilities of mistakes. So that battery could only be plugged in one way, so it was plugged in correctly. That's pretty smart. It identified the charge method internally, I believe, to charge the battery appropriately, and then we just hit start. So that was actually pretty convenient, and he doesn't know, he's none the wiser of the catastrophes of plugging a lipo in backwards or any of that stuff was all mitigated. So we've started the day off on a positive note. So, all right, I like it. So he figured out how to take the body off himself with their, can you show me the inside of the body real quick? It has these little like tab, where are they? Here?
Here and here.
Here, you just kind of push them and the body pops right off. So that's kind of neat. No body clips. I know you don't know what that means necessarily, but was that fairly easy once you figured it out?
Yeah, it only took like, I don't know, 10-15 seconds.
Nice. Okay, I like it. Oh yeah, got some fresh suspension on there, ready to rip. Okay, so we do have a body clip right there. So we are going to take, here, just open this battery as well. So if you didn't, because you've never bought these batteries before or used them before, this one being 7600 milliamp, that one being 5200 milliamp, does that mean anything to you?
No, I didn't even know what language you were speaking just then, actually.
So this number being bigger than that one.
Oh, okay. It's a stronger battery? The bigger number?
Stronger. Okay, I like that.
Okay.
I like that. So milliamp is basically like the size of the fuel tank.
Okay.
So more
That's
milliamp
MAH. That's
Yes.
milliamp. Got it.
means more runtime.
Okay.
So if we can, I want you to run this one because then we can run it for longer if we want to.
Okay. That's weird because it's the bigger box is the, it's like the smaller looking
Yeah, let's
battery.
open it up and see. Maybe I'm completely mistaken here.
Shred the
I don't
box.
think that anything that they sent us is a 4S, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. This is the 76.
Is it longer?
Yeah, longer.
Okay, so a little bit longer, which makes sense because it's the 76.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's gonna fit. Let's find out. No. Let's put. I want to see if it fits in here.
Oh, I got
that's
you.
Yeah, sorry.
So pop this off. Just
I want to
like
make sure that we're gonna charge the one that's gonna fit inside the vehicle we're trying to run.
Okay, so that pulls right out. Yeah.
Does it fit?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah. Is this a piece of foam? Oh yeah, we're golden. So yeah, that little piece of foam there, you can move the battery forward or back so you can get some weight bias. So you can have the
okay.
perfect setup.
Yeah, that's what we're after.
Okay.
I see. So that comes out.
Yes.
All right.
Boom. But we'll have to charge it. But okay, we
Yeah.
know that one fits, so we're gonna use that one.
Cool.
Car's over there.
Mm-hmm.
While we're waiting for this to charge, we were just going to look at this nice little additional care package that they included in this beginner starter set. So when you work on an RC car, you need specific tools, typically speaking. So based on your eyeballs and the few clues that I've given you already, what do we have here?
Yeah, so this toolkit has like all these hex tips, like Allen wrench kind of things here, all these bits, and then
Okay.
I forget what the reverse one is called, but yeah, it basically seems like we're gonna have everything we need.
That's a nut driver.
Nut driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a nut driver, dude.
I'm a nut driver. Dang it. Okay.
Yeah, this thing's pretty sweet, and something that I feel like I would use even if I didn't have a car. So.
Oh, true. Just for like other stuff.
Well, yeah, this is just like a handy dandy little pack, so it's pretty sweet.
Okay. And I think that they sent you an additional one that just is like what is it?
Yeah, so we've got just like your average Phillips heads here, flat head right here as well. I don't know if there's anything on the actual car that uses those. I haven't seen yet, but looks like we've got everything that we'll need, so don't need to go out and buy
Hopefully
any
we
other
don't get
tools.
that far into a problem.
Yeah,
but we
that's
might.
the goal.
Okay, so we are batting 1,000 so far. No mistakes. We haven't blown anything up yet. Everything is making sense as it should, which is really cool for somebody that is new and is probably overwhelmed with learning all these new things. You never want to get discouraged before you even drive the vehicle, right? So loving what we're seeing so far. We got the tools. Hopefully we're not going to use too much of that today. the batteries are charged. We're gonna put it in the car, and then we're gonna go over to the track and turn some laps. So, you are gonna do the honors. You gotta, let's put it in there, see if it makes sense. Should be pretty straightforward.
This up, I'm guessing.
Okay, where's the battery hold down? Let's just make sure it fits before you plug it in.
This guy?
Yeah.
So this goes this side, yeah.
Okay. Does it need to push in a little bit more?
Maybe. Yeah, I just didn't want to bust anything. And then this guy clips right on here.
Okay.
See if I can figure that out.
There we go. Battery's not going anywhere. And I want to see, let me see that plug. Does it look directional? Yeah, so it'd be very difficult to plug that in backwards. No LiPo fires here. All right.
Good.
And then the body, just press it on, and I think we're ready to go. Wait, actually, pro tip. Before we put the body on, let's do a quick systems check.
Oh, okay.
And let's turn the radio on, turn the car on, and make sure that we have steering and throttle inputs and all that stuff.
All right. Radio thing's on.
Radio's on.
Guessing that's where you turn it on, yeah?
Let's see.
And then
I see a light.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa! Hit the throttle a little bit. All right.
Nice.
So don't hit the throttle again. Okay, so you didn't even have to bind it. It comes bound out of the box. That's really nice. Not the biggest deal if it wasn't, but another convenience that it's just one step closer to them immediately going out onto the track, which is what we're going to do now.
Sweet, let's do it.
So
any pointers of anything I should do?
just turn left.
Okay, I can do that.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Go. Okay, don't go full throttle. In.
Yeah.
We're feeling it.
Only crashed twice.
That's fine. It's part of it.
I just want to rip it so bad. I'm just gonna...
But you kind of immediately learned that it's like, oh, when you rip it at the wrong time,
yeah,
bad things happen.
Yeah.
Or fun things, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. No, it's going good.
There is some talent required. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, a lot of talent that I don't have.
No.
It was awesome, man. Yeah, right out the gate, I think I thought it was going to be a lot easier to control, having never driven anything like this before at all. So, and it's just going around in a circle, so I thought it'd be pretty straightforward. But I think I crashed like 4 or 5 times in 5 minutes. But you know, it's all good. It seems like it can handle it. So
we did the classic, gave it all the throttle we wanted or thought, and then kind of did a donut. So you're like, oh, hang on.
Yeah, hold up. So yeah, I was just getting the feel for the throttle and everything, and I thought it was pretty awesome. It was just short-lived, but excited to get back out there.
Okay, yeah, we'll get back out there. They're doing some track prep right now, getting ready to do a little bit of a race program. But we will find a moment where we can get him back on the track and maybe do a little bit of racing. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if we can toss him down in there and have some fun. But so far, a couple crashes, no disasters. He did phenomenal. The car went straight. It was bound. We had no issues. So again, that initial first impression user experience, I think from an outside perspective was pretty solid. From your perspective?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm like, if I'm just trying to come out here and have fun and this is what I've got, I think that's exactly what I did. So
the battery is done. Nice.
Right. Sweet.
Okay, so a race program / event is going on both of the tracks right now. My planning abilities here, not exactly perfect, but we're gonna throw them down for some racing action, maybe grab the second round of qualifying just for fun, see how it goes. In the meantime, I think it's a fair assessment that if a newcomer got a car, the likelihood that they're still going to want to do the fun stuff, like out in an open field, a parking lot, baseball field, whatever, is probably fairly high, if I'm being honest. So we are going to take the Slash Modified down to this little open jump area down here, down the hill, and then we're just going to have some fun with it and see what we think. I mean, shame on us. Well, that's a bad idea, right? We don't have any fun with it.
An awesome idea. No, it's gonna be awesome. I got a couple jumps over here. I want to see this thing fly.
Okay, so this is good because I obviously would. You guys know me. I'm a diehard racer. My car's not going to be touched or turned on unless it's for racing purposes. But if I'm being real, the majority of the RC world, they don't do that. That's weird. They're going to have fun with it. They're going to enjoy it wherever they want, whenever they want. So we're going to do that today. I'm going to break that boundary, and it's going to be painful and hopefully fun. All right.
Oh man, what a rush. Finally got off one of those jumps. Kind of did it, kind of didn't, but it was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, you nailed it on the last one there.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you're just gonna go out and bash, I have to remember that, like, that's still a lot of fun. And so seeing him hit the jumps that are not perfect, but it's still something that puts the car in the air and you can have fun, learn some principles about throttle input. Nico, we're still getting the throttle input stuff kind of figured out.
Yeah, okay, so what I was learning at the end was, so in the beginning, went out there, saw the jump, and I'm like, okay, so I have to go off of this one, landed in this spot, so I just gassed it as hard as I could to try and make it to the other side, and the nose like went straight up in the air. So I'm like, how do you not do that? And he informed me that there was a reverse on this thing, which I didn't even know about. So I pushed the thing, didn't realize that. I thought it only went one direction. So yeah, by the end of it, in midair, I was able to go backwards and land it kind of okay. So I feel like a pro, pretty much.
And by go backwards, you mean hit the brake?
That's exactly what I meant.
Yes,
yeah.
Because the reverse is a press and hold, and we're not trying to do that. But I know what you're saying.
I don't know the lingo.
We were doing the brake tap, and
yeah,
it was getting the nose to kind of come back down and help us clear the landing a little bit better.
Brake
so that was fun. That was practical.
Yeah, I think I had a really good time out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that. We're going to assess the damage, see if we need to charge battery back up, and then we'll take it from there. Nico.
What's up, buddy? Thank
Got
you.
a prize.
Oh, present for me? You didn't have to do that. I didn't get you anything.
Well, it's not for you, but you get to drive it today.
Fine.
What do we have here? That was fun. It was a blast. Okay. Now
we've got the Jato 4x4 brushless, which I think is going to be a little easier driving. Yes? I don't know.
Well, maybe in some respects. It's
right.
Let's get this other one on the ground here so we can start digging into this bad boy. Okay, so the last vehicle, me knowing a thing or two about RC, the Slash Modified, 2-wheel drive, and not really meant to be a basher. We proved you could still do it. It survived. We had fun. We learned some stuff. The car we're getting into now is definitely much more capable and geared towards the basher side and potentially going on a racetrack. So now we're stepping it up a notch to maybe the second option here for the gateway car of should basher guy try RC racing, Jato 4x4. Let's see what we're gonna do with this thing.
While we unbox this thing, would you mind telling me exactly what basher means?
So basher, not to be negative, it's just what it sounds like. You take a car out to a local field, park, whatever, and you just bash it around.
Okay, it sounds like something I would do.
But I mean, most people would have fun doing that. If they're just getting a car to drive around and just experience remote control at a very basic level, bashing. And that's why it's way, way, way more popular than racing.
Here we go.
I don't know, what do we got here?
Well,
Oh, it's all
color-wise,
black?
all black. Some silver or gray accents, which is pretty
Nice.
All right.
Digging this.
Put that bad boy down right there. All right. You know, right off the bat though, one thing the other car has that I really appreciated was the little driver guy in there. You know,
Yeah.
I know that people out there, they really care about whether there's a little fake NASCAR driver inside. So for anyone that cares about that, might not be the best car for you. This one doesn't have that.
No NASCAR driver guy. I really think that there is some real valid equity or marketability in the scaleism, the realism factor, because it's relatable. My Techno NB 48 2.2 doesn't look like anything. It is a nitro RC buggy, but that it just looks like itself. They aren't anything relatable. It's like he watched it go around the track. He's like, okay, yeah, it's an RC car. But then when we open the / modified, one of the first things he commented on is like, hey, look, it's got like a little driver guy inside. That's really cool. So something of value there. I think that this car, it kind of lends itself more towards the e-buggy 8 scale kind of racer side of things, the Jato 4x4 here. So it's probably geared towards somebody that already knows something about the racing world potentially, and maybe they grab this because it appeals to them in that respect rather than a scale or realism factor. So, or they just like RC cars and they get it right.
Is it with my own number?
Dude, what number are you gonna go with? You can put a number on there.
Oh my gosh. Does it have to be 2 digits or can it be 5 digits?
Well, it's usually 1 or 2. In some rare circumstances, 3, but let's just stick to 1
So
or
I
2.
shouldn't do my debit card PIN probably.
Social security number probably is a good
Yeah,
idea.
my last 4.
Just the full number.
We'll just blur it out. You can blur it for the whole video, right?
Yeah,
No,
sure.
I'm probably gonna go with probably number 19. I think 19's my
Ooh,
number.
19, okay.
Yeah.
Any reason?
I always grew up thinking that was the coolest number out there. When I was 19 years old, I certainly wasn't very cool, but I thought I was cool, and that's what's important.
19, all right,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Where do I put it? I put it right. Can't put it over
I
the
mean,
windshield.
you could put it on the windshield, but for a scaleism factor, that obviously doesn't make
That's
any
not
sense
accurate.
at all.
So where would you put it?
There really isn't like a perfect spot. You could
right
put
about
it
here,
like
or-
here if you want, or like on the back wing, but that if you put it on the wing, it's definitely gonna fall off. So let's
Yeah.
put it where it's gonna survive, maybe.
Ooh, and do we
Put
have
it, like, right
slant
here.
options too? You can go italicized or back italicized.
Well, one's for left, one's for right.
I'm such a moron, dude. I'm like the biggest idiot ever. I was like, do I want to go left lane or right lane? I'm a designer, so I think about things like
It's
that.
true.
But if you wouldn't know that by what I just said. Anyway, I'm gonna go with 19, and so I'm
19.
gonna go the right slant on this side. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, 19. It's looking prime. It's fast.
It's like a drunk 19. It's like leaning the wrong way. Little schmutz right there.
This is actually something that's really interesting, and I want to get his feedback because you know me, racer guy. I'm probably going to put a body on that didn't come with the kit. I'm going to order custom stickers with my color set, and like everything is essentially throwing all the stuff in the box in that department out. But he, as he was opening it and going through the stuff, he's like, oh, it's got stickers and I can put these on there. And he's like, am I allowed to do it? And I thought that was like, it was wholesome. And I was like, oh, this is cute because I don't even remember being excited about a factory sticker set. Like, it's been so long. So, Nico, now that I've thoroughly embarrassed you and you
Am I blushing? I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm blushing. Yeah,
What?
no, but it was a wholesome experience. I felt like a kid again, even though I never did anything like this when I actually was a kid. But anyway, yeah. So I customized it with my numbers and stuff. Got them on both wings, which is sweet. I think we can all agree that I put those stickers on pretty perfectly.
Yes.
And then one of the things we were talking about was the tires and the difference from the last video for those tires versus these ones. So what's the difference?
Yeah, so the other ones, I think that they designed it to be like a spec, like dirt oval specific tire. They were okay when we went out to the off-road adventure park over here down the hill. And I knew in my head, I was like, oh, these tires aren't going to be that great. and it being two-wheel drive, this is not its time to shine. But we were still able to do it. We had fun. We drove around, and it was a fun experience. This, I already know, these tires are a little bit more geared towards just driving around random terrain that you may encounter in a field or a dirt lot or something like that. And they just look really cool. The wheels, they look like off-road wheels that you might put on like a full-size car. And it's a different vibe, different purpose. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah, I mean, they seem like they're going to be built for more traction. That plus the four-wheel drive on this one, I'm hoping that I'm not skidding all over the place like I was before, but that has way more to do with me than it does with the car.
No, it's true. Two-wheel drive's a lot harder to learn. It's good because it's going to teach you more faster. Yep. But four-wheel drive, definitely, I'm curious to see what your experience is going to be. I'm not going to say you're going to like it more. You might like two-wheel drive more. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But we'll see. We're going to charge the battery up, get it in here, make sure the radio is synced up like it was on the Slash Modified. It should be, and we'll take it from there.
Sweet.
It's funny, Nico, he was asking me, why do you do that thing that you always do? I'm like, what thing? He's like, you always do this with your suspension. What is that? I'm like, it's probably just a tick. I'm special. I don't know what to say. But I am genuinely curious what the suspension felt like if we're going to treat this like as close to an e-buggy race car, but it's not kind of thing. Like, well, it's got to have decent suspension. So feeling it, it's a little on the soft side if I'm talking about this in racing terms, but it has some dampening. It's very smooth. Like, that actually feels like a decent shock. You've got threaded shock bodies, so you could set ride height if you wanted to. You have adjustable shock locations on the bottom eyelet and on the shock tower. So in theory, if you wanted to race this for a little while in the novice class, you definitely could. You've got some real shocks. It's four-wheel drive. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm more optimistic now that I see one here in front of me before we get it out onto the track.
Do the thing. Nice. Oh, I did it.
Battery's in. Was that hard to figure out?
No. I mean, I went to college for 4 years, and I think that arguably might have helped me. But other than that, yeah, no, I figured it out.
The graphic design coming in clutch.
Whoa, you didn't have to
for
tell
the battery
me it was
install.
for a design degree.
Anyone that needs a logo, he'll do it.
Oh,
cheapest in town. Everybody send an email.
Don't sell my services. I don't do pro bono. I have 3 children. All right, so yeah, we're gonna pop this guy back on there, and we're gonna go out and run around. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this will be your first experience to see the difference in four-wheel drive.
Boom. I'm ready.
Okay.
Right.
Bash session completed.
Did it.
Initial thoughts?
Well, overall, this one was like way easier, I think, to handle. Did a lot better off the jumps. No fishtailing. Still, you know, crashed a large amount of times, but that's neither here nor there. I thought this one was way easier to handle and way more forgiving. So I feel like if you're a newbie like me and you go out and buy one of these as opposed to the other one, you might have a little bit more of a positive experience only because it's a lot easier to drive. Would you say that's fair?
Okay, yes, I agree. And what happened?
Well, I was able to do amazing jumps. I figured out how to do the little tap thing and evened everything out, so that was nice. So I hit a couple jumps pretty smooth. And overall, yeah, I feel like forgiveness is probably the #1 word I would use. Like way more forgiving. You can make the same mistakes being a newbie and not really knowing anything and not have the same kind of rough results.
Okay, I like it. So we're gonna get this thing charged back up. And while we're doing that, I have to be totally transparent. We did encounter a small issue, and I want to tell you what it was, what was happening. So if you guys identify this issue and it happens to you, hopefully you can do the same fix that I had so that you can continue your day of RC bashing, racing, whatever. So let me show you what we encountered. The short story, when we were grabbing a handful of trigger, the car was making crunchy sounds, and the crunchy sounds intensified. Me, having raced vehicles all my life, I knew immediately what that sound was, and I was like, oh no, maybe we can still save it, and hopefully you guys can too if you're experiencing this issue. So what I have here, this little thing here, I don't know if you guys can see, it has 3 little optional holes, is a kind of prefabbed locator for this screw right here in this motor mount system. Now what it was and what was happening, if you don't know, actually, you know what, we're going to take this gear cover off and I'm going to show you so that it's a better example. So one moment. I have already pre-unscrewed these, but you're going to unscrew this screw, and these 2, and this screw here, which I haven't done yet, so I got to do that real quick. Once we do that, we're going to take this cover off. Let's see if I can do this and hold the camera at the same time. So this is like a motor gear cover, chassis brace thing all in one, which is fine. Okay, set that aside, don't lose your screws. Oh, actually, I lied. You don't even need to take these 2 little screws out. It's just the 2 big ones. So, hey, live and learn. Okay, so what we have here, this is your spur gear. And then underneath it, down here, is your pinion gear. And that's what's attached to the motor. These 2 gears have to have a proper mesh in order for the vehicle to move forward and everything function. What's common, and it happens from time to time in vehicles, is that this will move away from the spur and cause chirping sounds, crunchy sounds, and it'll eventually reach a point where this will spin. This goes nowhere because you just spin through all the teeth on the surface of this. What had happened was the car was going around, me being veteran ear guy of RC problems and having experienced it myself many times, I started to hear the chirping sound. So I immediately was like, stop, we gotta stop. I gotta assess that. Let's see if it's going on. So sure enough, I pulled it off. I saw that the backlash was significant and some of the surface area of the spur gear was missing on the outer edge of the tooth. So I said, pump the brakes, we gotta fix this. Now, that little piece that I showed you a second ago, this guy, with the 3 little holes. This, in theory, makes life very simple because you just put it in the hole, it's aligned perfectly, and it probably is in most scenarios, and then everything's fine. You don't have to think about it. But in our case, where we had shaved off a little bit of that spur gear, I needed to improvise and make that mesh a little bit tighter than necessary to save our race day with what we have, because I don't have any replacement parts. What did I do? This screw right here, if you loosen it, allows you to move the mesh in or out. So all I did was I backed it out completely, took out that plastic insert, put it back in with an extra washer here to give myself a little bit of surface area. Then I just moved the motor to where the mesh was completely tight, and then I backed it off as little as possible. So that way I'm grabbing as much of the tooth of the spur that's left so that we can continue our day. And then once I had that mesh where it has just a tiny little bit of backlash, I tightened it back up, and then we crossed our fingers and hoped for the best. Through the power of editing and YouTube magic, we have already done that, gone back out, and the chirping gear crunching sound is no longer there. That's a little bit noisier because the mesh is a little bit tighter and the gear kind of got shaved a little bit, but it's still ripping. All that footage you just saw was after we encountered that problem, so we have successfully saved our day. I don't know if you guys can do the same, but in case you experience the same issue, that's what it was. That's how I fixed it. Hopefully you don't encounter that, but if you do, you can do the same.
E-Trucker, you are my marshals. E-Trucker, you are my marshals. Vance, Walker, Joseph, Mike, Cassidy, Kelly, and Nico. Vance, Joseph, Walker, Mike, Cassidy, those are your top five.
I just lost it off the thing.
1:20 to go.
Oh,
Well, that's not good. That guy's way faster than me. Oh, I did it again. I did that twice in a row. Oh, dude.
yeah. Smooth, be smooth.
It's actually a good strategy. Check it out.
Oh,
Hi, wait for the
oh yeah.
So he's going to finish third, which he'll get a picture taken after the last race, alright? Alright, let's go to the rest of the race. Let's finish it.
And you're done.
There, good.
Okay,
6 is Tom.
TQ top qualifier,
Yeah.
fastest lap of the
7
day.
is Joseph.
You had it going on.
8 is
Tell us about
Jonathan.
experience.
Yeah, so overall, did a lot better than I thought I would. I literally going into this thought I was going
Thank
to
you.
launch the car off of that hill and it was going
10
to
is
hit your
Jose.
truck. But what actually
Robert,
happened
then you did
was
11.
I did decent for about, I don't know,
That's
30
good.
seconds. And then came around
Here's
here,
one.
this straightaway right here, I was squeezing that thing as hard as humanly
And so
possible.
hot.
I think that I actually put a hole in that vinyl fence
Yeah.
over there. And I
Definitely
almost
not
killed
enough
the guy that was
marshals.
marshalling over there. But overall,
I need 2
pretty
more
fun
marshals.
experience.
2
People
more
here are
marshals.
super nice. I didn't know if it was going to be stuffy. Everyone's super nice. So yeah, I thought I did surprisingly okay for my first time. And I absolutely would do again, 10 out of 10.
Marshall, please.
There you have it. Nico had a blast at the track. He had a lot of fun. Thank you again, Traxxas, for making this type of thing possible. Another thing that I wanted to give you guys as a closing thought, in the world of racing, a lot of people are going to graduate from these vehicles and they're going to go into something else that might be a little bit more race oriented. The one thing that I will say Traxxas has been consistently good at through the decades of their existence is offering some very strong, long-standing, long-lasting product support. You may find yourself in a scenario that you've got an old Bandit or Slash in your garage that you used when you were a kid. Now you're having your first kid and you want to get it back out again and give them something to play with. There's a very good chance that there's still a full list of product support for that vehicle. And that can't be said for too many vehicles in today's market. A lot of it is by design for us racers, but it's something to be said for the customer support that Traxxas offers their customers. If you're just looking to dabble and have a little bit of fun, I think that these two vehicles are going to be some very strong, fun contenders in this scenario. So if you guys have any questions about that, feel free, drop a comment down below. I'll do my best to help you out in your purchasing journey. Please, you guys jump in there as well. If you have a first-hand experience with these vehicles and you can answer a question, you're just as capable as I am. Thank you to everyone that made this video possible. All my patron supporters, all my sponsors. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for continuing to support me and this channel. That's it for this one. We got some more fun stuff coming up for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you all out at the track. So till next time, peace.